Good Thursday morning. It's the main event. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum. And of course, folks, you know him. He's not just a great guy, but he's a 17-year NFL veteran, 3-year show veteran of this program.
3?
Has it been 3 or 4? It's been a long time.
Really?
Feels like it. Time flies when you're not with that other host you used to have on there. 3-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys. Folks, Dale Hellestrae is here, and he's getting more and more excited. SummerSlam's coming up this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. He can't wait. Dale Hellestrae, everybody.
I have to tell you, Steve, I was watching a little ESPN last night, basking in my Arizona Diamondbacks moving into second place in the wild card standings. Dominated effort yesterday. Mm-hmm. And they had a SummerSlam promo.
Well, you have to because it's on ESPN
and
Unlimited or whatever.
Instead of changing the channel, which I would usually do, I decided to watch it.
Yeah.
Wasted 2 minutes of my life as they went through some guy who puts hexes on wrestlers.
Oh my! Yeah, curses them.
Yeah.
Oh my God! It's the newest rage of WWE. It's fantastic. He's actually pretty funny.
He
Curse
looked
you
like the biggest idiot.
Oh, he has the white face guy, right?
Yeah. Oh, made up.
Danhausen. Yeah.
And please.
It's amazing, Dale. It's
please. Fun. If you're going to sit there and first, is it pay?
Oh, yeah, he probably makes millions of dollars.
No, but is SummerSlam a pay-per-view thing?
It's on ESPN Unlimited, so you got to have that to pay for it. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Well, I mean, that's no different than a mascot that every NFL team has.
Is he not a wrestler?
He wrestles too, yeah.
So he's a player.
It would be like
It's cockamamie.
Whatever. That's your judging. Did you watch it at all? Did you?
Yeah, I watched and listened. I said, this is so stupid. He's putting curses on other wrestlers.
Yeah.
And then they come true, and it's like,
yeah.
Hold on. You're grown people sit down and watch
Have you not seen Major League? Baseball is the most superstitious thing on the planet. You don't see Major League where he's like, his bat and everything. It happens in sports too, Dale. Some football players, I wear the same socks every game. I put on my left shoe first every day before I go to practice. Everybody does this. What's the difference? Besides, you have a little bit more fun watching WWE.
And it's fake, and it's
not fake. It's not any more fake than the made-up NFL. They made up NBA. made up Major League Baseball. It's not any more fake than that.
I
all
saw
scripted,
that.
Dale.
And I was like, I was looking for the channel changer 30 seconds into going, this has got to be the stupidest thing.
But you got to watch the wrestling matches, though. That's just a promo. And no.
But that's how they sell it. It's like movie that showing us the best scenes in a trailer.
Well, that's the thing. I've seen some movie trailers where I'm like, I ain't watching that. And then I see the movie, and I'm like, oh, that was a great movie. The same thing here. That promo didn't that entailed to other people, but it didn't entail to you. It doesn't mean you throw it out with the baby out with the bathwater. You know?
Sometimes you have to, Steve.
Yeah, whatever. I'm sending you other clips today. I'm sending you clips of Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins battling it out there, and you're gonna see that nonsense happening. You're gonna get all into this.
You're gonna spend 3 hours on Saturday and 3 hours on Sunday watching that nonsense.
6 hour pregame, postgame, have the finest meats and cheeses laid out across my island in my room.
In your room?
In my kitchen. In my bedroom. Yeah. Finest meats and cheeses. We'll be all dressed up, wearing my outfits.
I saw that, and I was getting ready to go to bed, and I'm like, I can't get that out of my mind.
It's not any different than any other sport you watch.
You do you.
Not any different than any other.
6 other people
than any other 6 other people. It's gonna have record ratings. What are you talking about?
It's in Indianapolis or
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis.
I said Indianapolis the other day. It's Minneapolis, though. Yeah. No, you act like nobody watches this stuff. Yeah. Ethan says Downhausen also curses teams in the NBA, the hockey playoffs, and cursed Stephen A. Smith on live TV. He did. Yep. And then he also said he's the most funny character. I agree. It's just
That's
comedy.
as good as it gets.
Well, normally you don't watch this for comedy.
Oh my goodness.
Watch for giant men and tiny ladies battling it out and stuff like that.
Do you
right?
think he can put a curse on Marvin Harrison to catch footballs?
I don't think it works that way.
Yeah,
Throw it up, Ethan. I don't think it works that way,
You
Dale.
don't?
No, yeah. There you go. I mean, how do you not get involved in this? Where else do you see something as fantastic as this?
My goodness.
He's evil.
Can he wrestle?
We'll find out.
Oh, you haven't seen him wrestle before?
He wrestled in was it AEW before he came over to WWE and stuff like that. Does a little bit, but this is a big match for him. We'll see, dude. It's gonna be. I have a feeling it's gonna be one of those. He's gonna go out there to wrestle, and then he's gonna do some stuff, and everybody's gonna laugh because it's gonna be funny, and then it's gonna kind of be like a silly type thing. I think is what's gonna happen.
Like the rest of it.
No, it gets serious. It gets serious, and when Brock Lesnar doesn't. There's no laughing from Brock Lesnar in that ring. And the boy he's going up against, man, there's no laughing from that dude either. Just two giants in the ring, Dale. You're welcome to come over.
Yeah.
I'll give you my address.
I don't think I'd walk next door to watch it.
I'll send a car. I'll send Ethan to pick you up in my car.
Ooh.
Papa Mike says, woo, woo. I come in and Steven's yelling already. Dale, what'd you do? Insulting my SummerSlam this weekend is what he's doing, Papa Mike. Not allowed. It's going to be better than the Hall of Fame game that we're going to be watching next Thursday. I'll tell you that much.
Can't argue there.
Thank you. We found something that Dale thinks is
Right.
worse.
Except for
than
you're
where we're
telling
at.
me that the SummerSlam was like the big thing for wrestling this year.
No. It's the big thing for the summer. WrestleMania and Royal Rumble are way bigger.
So they do those every year?
Yeah, it's a staple. It's like the majors in golf.
Exactly like the majors in
It
golf.
is.
Yeah.
It's the big thing. It's what you want to be in, man. You want to build up to it.
Scotty
You don't-
Shuffler comes out.
You don't become a wrestler unless you're wrestling in these events, and your dream is to wrestle in the main event of these events.
And so Scotty Shuffler comes out and puts hexes on Rory McIlroy and
Well, it depends on what his character is. Depends on what his character is.
oh my goodness.
Robert says that Dalehausen will be busy watching Hallmark movies this weekend.
Oh goodness.
Dalehausen. That's what we're going to start calling Dale now. I'm going to write that down. Dalehausen.
I watched that and said, "Oh my gosh, this is so stupid." But anyway,
Yeah, no,
I digress.
It's hilarious.
You know what wasn't stupid yesterday, Steve? You know what wasn't stupid yesterday?
No, because the Shanahan updates gotten stupid again. They're in the 49ers.
I'm not seeing that.
Oh yeah, no, I got it for you. I don't. Dale. They're hiding something. Something's hidden.
Really?
I'm sorry. It just we'll talk about that in just a minute here. But Cardinals, Beck's looking good. All he had to do was put on pads, and all of a sudden he's hitting receivers downfield yesterday. Couldn't find a 5-yard pass he didn't like before in training camp, and now all of a sudden he puts pads on and he's hurling the ball down the field. Marvin Harrison, a couple more drops yesterday. My favorite is he'll make a catch, and then people will be like, why does this not make people's anti-films? Because he's supposed to do that. I'm hoping the best for the guy. I'm hoping we need Marvin Harrison. People think I hate him. No, I want him to catch the ball. That's why I'm frustrated with it.
Right.
He's supposed to catch them, and he doesn't, and it frustrates the heck out of you. Like, people think I hate Torey Lovello, and I keep telling people, I think Torey Lovello is a good manager. He gets fired from the Diamondbacks here in September, he'll have another job next year if he wants one. He will. He's that good of a manager. Now he's got his flaws and stuff like that. I don't put it all on him. Doesn't mean I hate him. It's just I see the deficiencies of what they do. and you expect better from him. You want better from him. That's a good thing that people are upset Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't catch passes because we have standards. We have expectations.
Well, and the Marvin Harrison thing. I mean, it's you have a deep crossing route, and there's no defender with it in the.
Oh, so you saw the one I
frame.
talked about? That was 2 days ago. You saw that one?
Yeah,
I told you, right in the hands.
I mean, and again, it's not like you're heaping all these expectations on him.
Yeah.
It's
just catch the ball.
Catch the ball.
Yeah, just catch it. That's my point. It's not, oh, why don't you make it more one hand? Like I saw somebody put a compilation together, and he was being throwing the ball by the coaches in one of those drills, and the coach was throwing it like 3 feet behind him, and he was trying. You're not catching those ones, but people were putting him in the compilation, being like, see, Marvin can't catch, like seriously. And I'm like, dude, that's 3 feet behind him. Nobody's catching that.
Right.
Type of stuff. No. We're not asking. We're just asking that the ball hits you in the hands at the numbers that you come down with it in a big game, especially 10, 15 yards down the field, because that's a big gain.
And nobody around you. It's not like you were even being contested.
No. But then again, I saw I think it was Jacoby floated a ball up over the defender. The defender wasn't defending the way he would in a game probably, and he kind of like gave up on it. And Marv went and got it, and then ran in it for a touchdown. And I saw all these Marv lovers. Why aren't we talking about this catch? And blah, blah. And I'm like, that's what he's supposed to do. He did exactly what he's supposed to do. We just have standards here, man. Catch the ball. That's all I'm asking. Yeah. Am I asking too much, Dale?
No.
And I'll be the first one. If it's behind him 2 feet, he should catch it, but it's a hard catch. I get it. Not everybody's going to catch those 100% of the time.
Well, it all depends, again, on the situation. Is it man-to-man coverage and somebody's hovered all over you and you're trying to twist your body? And make a couple of those catches, but not every one.
You're not going to make everyone like that. No. But when they're right in the numbers, nobody around you. I mean, you saw that crossing route one. That I'm pretty sure that was 2 days ago because I talked about it yesterday. But even yesterday, he had one. He had 2 yesterday. Dale, we need him to catch. That's all I can say on that. We need him to catch really quick because you take off early today to go over and do your hit over there with Holmberg and the boys and over there at KUPD and everything. And I want to talk D-backs with you. But, yeah, the Shanahan update.
Yeah, what? I did not see this.
So there's a guy on X who used to cover a lot of stuff and kind of like an investigative journalist is what I would call him now. He's all over the Rossini Vrabel story, and he's like investigating it and finding out new stuff and all of that stuff. But he does a really good job. Whatever you think about him, he's investigating it at least. And, he puts facts out there and things he's found out. Sometimes his opinions, you can take or hit them, and stuff like that. I'll just tell you that right now as we're talking about it. So he's looking into this Vrabel. He's looking into the Shanahan thing.
Yeah.
By the way, he used to cover the 49ers as well. So, he's into those circles, and a lot of people that follow him and everything are Niners fans, right? His name's Tony Farmer. We'll give him the plug here. Follow him on X if you're into this type of investigating stuff out there. He does his own podcast, stuff like that now. But he comes out and he's looking into the Shanahan story. And he publishes last night. Palo Alto police just informed me they will not be releasing body cam footage, the 911 call, or the accident report.
Well,
why would you not? Which means now you got to go to court, so somebody's got to file a report go to court, argue it in front of a judge, and see if they'll release it. But why are you hiding this stuff?
Yeah, that's very interesting.
I can almost understand the body cam if it's a gruesome wreck, which Shanahan, it was a bad wreck. Let's just leave it at that, right? He's acknowledged it was a bad wreck and things like that. I can understand body cam maybe holding back to protect the 21-year-old girl and stuff to that effect. You got to blur it, whatever.
Right.
But why not the 911 call and the accident report? What's happening?
All that does is open up more questions.
That's my point. Just release it.
Yeah.
Shanahan's already talked about it. And I don't think Shanahan's lying, because why would he come out and be like, actually, it's all my fault? phone fell between the thing. I almost killed both of us. Whatever he said. Wouldn't that be something if it comes out he's lying about that, and they want to keep him from being seen as a liar for admitting to it? Nobody thinks that's going to happen.
The only thing that jumps into my mind is like, okay, is there more to it? Like, was there drinking involved? Was there something?
That's what pops in your mind
Right.
when you're not going to release publicly information.
Right.
And you're going to make people go to court and find it. One thing I'm spending today doing, I'll tell you right now, ABC 15 finally they filed a lawsuit in 2024 for the Gilbert Goon stuff with the police body footage and interviews and stuff like that before the public pressure got so big that they actually had to get off their butts as police department and go find these kids and arrest them. ABC 15 finally got that in. But that was 2024 when they filed that lawsuit to get that information. And they just got it yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be spending some time in my day today going through watching those body cams and things to that effect to see how bad Gilbert was or how they did overlook it and it wasn't their fault. Like, I'm interested in seeing how this goes because I think Gilbert just turned their blind eye to it. But that's a whole nother subject then.
Right.
But my point is here, they hid it for 2.5 years, which tells you Gilbert was hiding it for a reason. They know they didn't do their job and they were hiding it.
Right.
And that's why they're keeping it away. So that's what we got to find out. I don't get why we're not just releasing it, making it public now. And so it's fascinating. According to Tony Farmer, at least, they say they are not releasing the body cam footage, 911 call, the accident report. 2 basic things that get put out there.
And they said there were no citations given?
No citations given. Here's issue number 2. You cross double yellow lines and run into another car. You're not allowed to cross double yellow lines.
No, that's a citation.
That's a simple citation. I was driving, I think I was doing a trip to Kansas City one time, and I was driving through Salt River, and I was eating M&Ms. There's nobody else on the road, Dale, but you know how it curves and goes up and down. So I was going on over the yellow line into the curve because nobody was coming. I was eating M&M. The cop pulled me over and gave me a ticket for not maintaining my lane. With nobody else there. And I was like, I'm eating M&Ms, dude. He probably thought I was drinking or whatever. And stuff like that. So I know there's a law that says maintaining your lane.
Right. And now on top of it, you cause an accident and you come out publicly and say it's my fault.
You get in a car accident, folks, you get a citation for running in the back of somebody, not failure to maintain your car, things to that effect.
Right.
I think we have a cover up here. And I'm not saying the cover up is Shanahan. That maybe he was doing something. I'm not saying that. Something's in this that they're trying to keep out of the public.
Right. And again, doesn't anybody in their offices go, well, if we make a big deal out of this, then everybody else is going to make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, I saw that. And I'm just like, I went right back to you. I was all willing to let it go and just be like, was it just a terrible accident?
Right.
And now I'm like, all right, what are you hiding? Why not? Well, why are we doing this? Tony Romo's DUI thing, which that's a whole nother subject there. Tony Romo's thing's out. They didn't hide it. Nobody hid that one.
Now, again, I'm with you. If there was blood and guts and gore and whatever. I
mean, you can blur it, but I understand maybe holding that back and making them sue you for that.
But the police report should be, boom, out there.
911 call. Somebody calling in, probably screaming.
Yeah.
Somebody calling in on a 911 report to report it so police can respond. That's basic stuff. That gets released without even thinking about it.
Right.
At that point and stuff. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting what they're doing. So that's the Shanahan update there, Dale. And I'm back on my what are we hiding? What are we hiding here?
And why?
Here's the other side. So you're going to go to court. It takes time for the court to go through. Let's say they win it. And I'm not saying it's going to move this fast, but just imagine this. 49ers are getting ready for a playoff game. End of this year. All of a sudden, a judge says this has to be released. And then it gets released. And let's say it's not good. Something is being covered up or hidden and stuff.
Right.
So then you're going into an end of the season game or a playoff game, an important game with that distraction in front of you. At that time, I don't get it, man. I don't get what's happening. Get it out there. But we'll see. Hey, Baker Mayfield feels disrespected
Ooh.
by his Buccaneers extension. He's
Oh.
using those terms, folks.
Ooh.
Baker Mayfield, Arizona Cardinals. Let's go.
Oh, no.
He used the word disrespected. He feels disrespected. There's a hatred there. I mean, you could go get Taysom Hill today. He's available as your quarterback.
Is he playing tight end? Is he playing fullback? Is he playing quarterback?
My favorite thing about him announcing he's not going back to New Orleans was literally they listed like 10 positions that he plays, and it made me giggle a little bit. But Dale, you got to take off here shortly, so I just wanted to do those updates out there. But D-backs win last night. Erod was like, Brennan fought. Oh, your 7 innings were cute. Oh, cute 7 innings there, Tiger. He goes out there and does 8 innings yesterday. Just dominant performance by Erod yesterday. Gave the bullpen, which they have an off day today, so he gave the bullpen, a much-needed break going into a day off today as well. Just extra time to do that as well. Fantastic from him. That's the story of the game. They win 3-0 as well. That's the story of the game. But then while you're watching the game, right, Rodriguez gets done, 8 innings, finishes up. Who you bringing in a closing situation here with 3 down? Don't tell me if you were at work not paying it, you were wondering what that was. We had it on here. I recorded a pit stop yesterday, and I was like, who's coming in the 9th? As soon as we get done recording. Brings in Brandon Garcia, which tells you right there Sewald's out of the closer role. Then afterwards, Torey Lovello said he's going to use Sewald, like I said, use him in lower leverage situations and let him get his confidence back. If you're down by 7 runs, you throw him out there and let him just go pitch, get some confidence back in those situations type of stuff. And then we got the dreaded closer by situation ahead of us now.
Closer by committee, Steve?
Well, I'm going to use situation instead of committee because if you have left-handed hitter coming up, you're going to bring in a righty closer. It's not always going to be Brandon Garcia that comes in. I think you're going to see, different guys in there and stuff like that coming your way and things. Is this the sign that the Diamondbacks, because 23 they stuck with them for a long period of time before they lost a lot of games. Is this a sign that the leadership around the Diamondbacks, jobs on the line, they go, we can't afford to stick with guys right now. We have to make the moves and stay positive.
Well, we talked about it yesterday, the fact that, it was an early game yesterday after a long game the night before. Probably didn't have a whole lot of talk. General Manager Hazen and Torey and higher-ups than that, whatever, in that short term. So was this a chance for Torey just to say, hey, I'm making this decision?
I think they had a conversation before the game, like just a general one. And then it was like, hey, okay, you can. Then it was probably like, all right, do what you got to do today. And then let's talk about it. Because after the game, he went on his hit, I believe, on 98.7 and stuff like that. Because you got to talk to Sewald and, Torey said on his radio hit, he flat out said, and I don't know if I believe it or not, but he said that Sewald was like, no, I get it. I'm not playing well, so I'm willing to step aside as closer and let's win some games. He put Sewald in the best light publicly, which is what a manager's job is to do. But here's the other side of it. If Sewald really was like, no, I get it. I suck. I don't need to be the closer. That actually makes me more angry. Throw some fight. You stand up and you throw a chair and you go, how dare you not have faith in me? I can do this. And you throw a chair against the wall and you get mad. Then you walk out and go, whew, man, I've been sucking. Probably the right move. But in the moment, you put up a little bit of a fight. And according to Torey, he's like, no, I get it. Yeah, I'm going to step aside as closer. Let's put guys in there that can win. I want to see some fight from somebody.
Well, the thing is, what's so interesting about this is that the history is not too long ago to where they went through this, and they stuck with them for probably a week or two
Oh.
too long.
I want to say it was almost a month. But yeah, I don't have the exact time, but it felt like forever, Dale.
Yeah. And so maybe they've learned from that and said, hey, we're not going to do this again. You have to understand that.
Yeah.
We're going to figure out another way to go about this. But
there might have been that conversation when they signed him and gave him that role. It might have been, you start to falter, and we're going to make a move this time,
right?
Type of a situation, right? Give him that thing up front as well. I mean, I'm happy to see the Diamondbacks make that, and the team, of course, rebounded well. I'll say this, which was weird. The team that lost the game the night before after coming back the Pirates looked bad yesterday.
They did.
Looked sluggish. They looked like they were the ones that were having the emotional second day, which makes sense, because you lost that game after coming back. That's an emotional toll by itself. So I was fascinated to watch that as well. But look, you got to give, as much as I want to make fun of the Diamondbacks and the way they operate and things to that effect, they did the right thing here. It's not something we see from them very often. Let me rephrase that. They did the right thing immediately. They tend to, as my mic decides to show up right there, they did the right thing immediately. Whereas generally they tend to want to stick with that move.
Yeah, wait for a little bit before they make a change. And he's a veteran.
We know he's going to be good. Yeah,
he's a veteran. I trust him. Okay, well, he trusted him, whatever that was, 3 years ago too, and that went a whole month and almost cost them an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, remember that 23 years? I mean, they would have walked into the playoffs. And they ended up going to the World Series or rolled their way and stuff like that. So. It's kind of interesting to see where we are. But there you go, Dale. Your Diamondbacks back on a roll. Throw up the NL wildcard standings here for me.
That, would you please?
Dale called it yesterday. You win tonight. And you win today, and you will take that second spot. Dale manifested it. Thanks to the Phillies losing again.
I'm like that wrestler guy.
Yeah, you cursed the Phillies.
Yeah, curse the Phillies. Now next is the Cubs.
I was watching the Phillies-Yankees series over the weekend. And I think it was Sunday Night Baseball, I think is what it was. Yeah, it was, because John Crook was on the call. And he's all right, but, man, he goes off on these tangents that drive me nuts. But they were talking about Bryce Harper and, all he wants to do is win a World Series, and that's why he's here in Philly. And I'm like, to win a World Series, man, he's got to get out of Philadelphia. That team's not winning anything anytime soon. They have so much talent. It's ridiculous. They're like the Mets. They're lucky they have the Mets in their division as another failure team, because the Phillies are just as bad. But they've lost 3 in a row. So the Diamondbacks, second spot here as well. But don't sleep on the Padres, folks. Look at this. They've won 5 in a row.
Yeah.
They're making a big run again here as well. Phillies are going to wake up. Now, the thing is I think what we're going to see here as the season goes on, I think you're going to see the Pirates, Marlins, Nationals, Cardinals fade as the season goes on. Not terribly fade, but they'll be around 500 or just around 500 or maybe a little bit below it, maybe a couple games above it, coming up for the rest of the season. So you have the Phillies and Padres. If you can keep doing what you're doing now, winning series again, with your fairly easy schedule here, you're set to go, man. You're gonna make this run, and you're gonna be able to keep this competitive till the end of September, Dale, which is all we can ask for.
That is all we can ask for, because then it'll move us right into this good-looking football season, and then right into the basketball season.
For the over 5 for the Cardinals that I put $10 on the other day, last week.
There you go.
Over 3.5, I mean, not over 5. I think they're going to get 5, but over 3.5 is what I put it down on.
How could anybody ever take the under on 3?
Well, that's the problem. That's the problem. You can't. And I dare say, I hate to say things like this, but I firmly believe this, whether it's right or it's wrong. It's hard to only win 1 or 2 games in the NFL. Like, it's hard.
It's almost like you got to be trying.
That's what I'm getting at. And I don't think with the new head coach, with the talent on this team, I don't think this team is going to quit, at least first half of the season. So you might pop up and surprise somebody here or there. I don't know. That's what I'm betting on. Cowboys, Giants, Jets. Right there, you're 3. I'm trying to figure out the NFC. I'm going through all my stuff. I'm trying to figure out the NFC East. Eagles, obviously. But after the Eagles, man, Washington's tons of new offensive, defensive coordinator, quarterback. How healthy is he? The rest of the team there. Cowboys.
Who
Flip
knows?
a coin on them.
Right.
Same thing as every year. They're either going to be really good and surprise everybody, or they're going to be right where you think they are. Mediocre, as usual, from that side.
Giants.
Just because they got Harbaugh, they're all of a sudden going to become good?
Yeah.
It's basically the same team. They'll get Neighbors back at some point, but they're basically the same team. Does the head coach make them a playoff contender? I don't think so. But is it possible? I guess so. Harbaugh. You guys watch Harbaugh at the end there in the Ravens the last 7 years? Saying. So I'm trying to figure out the NFC East, man. This is the most confusing one on the planet.
So you'll get to talk to Lou. I have seen him on Twitter be very vocal about these people who are taking overs and unders and all that.
He says don't take overs this time of year,
Right.
take unders.
Right.
Yeah. Now the Ravens have a really easy schedule, but I agree with him. I think they're not. They're going to win. They're going to win under 11.5, even though they have a favorable schedule. But I think that again has to do with new coaching staff, all of that stuff. You'll have some faltered games in there, like the Seahawks. New offensive. I think the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks is a big deal. That offense is going to run different this year. It's going to be fascinating to watch. But the NFC East is the one that I'm sitting here going, I don't flip a coin. Throw it up in the air. See what happens. Fun times. Dale, get out of here. Go see your boys over there.
I will do that. Would you like me to tell them anything?
Well, I'll see them later on today, from what I understand.
Okay.
Are you guys not coming in for that later on?
Oh, I will. We were planning on it as of Tuesday.
Well, that's the thing. What big thing does John have that he has to cancel again?
It's the Fountains Bronco.
Is he not? Is it not in the repair? I haven't listened in a while.
Yeah.
See if it gets in the shop there. We'll tell him hello, of course. Tell him I'll be on the show next time.
Hello, Dobson night.
Yeah, tell him I wasn't able to make it today. I'll be there next time. Uncle Lou's coming up top of the hour, folks. Come back and join me. Until then, the main event. And we're back here. Main event. Dale takes off on Thursdays and does his hit over there on Holmberg's Morning Sickness with all the boys over there at 9 o'clock. He goes over there and has some fun, of course. And then, of course, Lou comes in here top of the hour. Well, see what he's got, updates or any comments on NFL talk out there. Then, of course, the UFC action last week over there in Abu Dhabi overnight or early morning. This week, another morning UFC event. We'll talk about that coming up as well with Uncle Lou, and just generally have a lot of fun out there as well. Really quick, in terms of the YouTube, you can join the chat. You can join our text line, 623-252-6670. That's just like texting your buddies or your girlfriends or your wives, your girlfriends and your wives there on your phone. We don't respond back to you there on the text line. We just get him in. We respect your privacy there, but we'll see him. We'll read him. Of course, tag us at TME Sports Show as well. And let us know. Join in the conversations there if you'd like. And then join the YouTube chat that we have up as well right now. So, Papa Mike, of course, big Oklahoma fan, says, Boomer Sooner Baker. He used the word disrespected today. Now, that's all. You're going to see a lot of those terms as he's upset he didn't get his deal done. He's playing on his final year of his deal, things to that effect. You're going to see a lot of those types of words used to try to gain leverage and things like that as well coming up for him, right? Ann says, I wouldn't mind a little shake and bake with the Cardinals. Not too bad of an idea there with this layout that they have or the roster that they have. And then Robert says, must have been a late night meeting at the D-Bag Brain Trust on Tuesday. I don't know if Hazen was there. I didn't see anything that he was there. But I mean, it's a phone call away, right, that you do and have that conversation. Obviously, Torrey was given the approval to move on from him. It might have just been yesterday. It might have just been as simple, do what you're going to do today. Do what you need to do today, and we'll talk about it afterwards type of situation. It could have been as simple as do it, click, as well. But we're seeing something we generally don't see from the Diamondbacks. So that's my bigger point here. They normally don't make moves and big decisions like this quickly. And they did it this time. So I'm going to attribute it to a recognition that they needed to make the change. Whereas in the past, job security leads to decisions being made differently. If you feel like you're safe, you might give them some extra chances. If you think your job's on the line, you might be like, we need to make this change now. And we need to protect these guys and protect me, from what I love to do here as well. And two things came in, which is interesting. Basically at the same time, Ethan came in and said, have Zach as a closer, meaning Zach Gallen. Then right pretty much at the same time, Ann chimes in and says, I don't know if I would trust Gallen as a closer, but maybe that is the change he needs. Here's my problem with Zach Gallen trying to be the closer. He doesn't have the stuff. My problem with Paul Sewald, I've told you guys all along, is he's not a closer that you think of as a closer. He throws, and he got away with it the first half of the year. I mean, we gave him all the props. Mid-90s pitcher, low high 80s, mid-90s pitcher. Location's more of his stuff. That worries me. What's Zach Gallen's problem when he comes into a game? First inning, he gives up 3 runs. He might settle down after that, but he comes in the game. No. Your closer needs to come in the ninth and shut it down immediately. And I don't think Gallen has the mentality to be a closer. You have to have a mean son of a gun attitude to walk in there and take over that game like that. You got to have that level of a confidence. And I don't think Zach Gallen's got it. He doesn't have the personality to do it as well. Now, for what you're saying here, right? If it's well, you got to keep in mind also Zach Gallen and his agent have a say on this too, right? But you need bullpen arms. Who are you taking out of this starting lineup right now to put him back into that lineup? Yeah, the young guys, right? But you have Sirocco coming back that's going to get a spot there. So you kind of have to watch that going into it. But in terms of trying it, I wouldn't be opposed to putting him out there. My biggest problem with it is Zach Gallen gives up a lot of runs early in the game. So you don't need your 9th inning guy going out there, your closer going out there and then giving up the 3 runs right off the bat going into it. But something you try, sure. I don't think he has a mentality to do it, me personally. It's not a knock on him. Closers have to have different mentalities. You ever seen a closer on the mound? They're just a commanding presence. Even Sewald, when things were going well for him earlier this year, he just confidence oozing out of him. Does Zach Gallen on the mound look like there's confidence oozing out of him? Yeah. Ethan says at least try it for a game and see what happens to him. Well, that's what I'm getting at. I'm not opposed to trying it. If there's a game where you need a righty pitcher out there for whatever reason to close out the game, you need to get him some game action. Yeah, throw him out there. See what happens. have a big enough lead to protect yourself, but see what happens out there as well, right? Things. But, I always say, try something new, right? Change the way you drive to work. Change the M&Ms on the secretary's desk, Put your right sock on first and then your left sock. I always say, try something new. And that is thinking outside the box and see what happens. Papa Mike says, I left a few comments on the business show this morning. If you have time, check them out. Well, of course, Papa Mike. I'll go back and check that out as well there. Did you guys see, by the way, I did that on the business show today. Did you see LeBron James when he announced he was going to the 76ers? I did this story on the business show today. He blew away Shohei Ohtani's sales after he went to the Dodgers. What was that, 2023? I think is when he went to the Dodgers, if I remember right. 2024, something like that. LeBron James's jersey of the 76ers is flying off the shelves. It is fascinating to see as well. Robert says closers need the mentality of a cornerback. Don't carry over things to the next batter or play. And then Robert, and I agree with you on that, because if you make a bad pitch, right, you got to forget about it and throw another one. My biggest problem is with Sewald. Like I said, I'm not knocking Sewald for this. He did a fantastic job beginning of the season, and he's lost it for some reason. But Robert says velocity helps. To me personally, you can argue with me till you're blue in the face, and I'm going to tell you, my closer is going to be like Miller in San Diego, Chapman back in the day. When in his prime, I know he's still pitching for the Red Sox and stuff like that. That is the type of pitcher. I want him to be 6'2", 6'4", lanky, tall, bruising personality, mean looking, right? Got a Fu Manchu going, spitting his tobacco out while he's on the mound. I know, I'm going a little overboard there. But then I want him to walk in there and throw 100 and something miles an hour. Just straight gas. Three pitches right down the middle, 101 miles per hour, just daring the guy to hit it. And just staring him down when he doesn't. I don't know. That's just me. That's what I want in a closer. That's what I love in a closer. That's what I watch in a closer, and stuff to that effect. And, velocity is important to me in a closer. But Sewald, I told you guys this, if you guys have been watching us all year. Sewald just confounded me all season long, especially at the beginning. Because I'm like, how does he not get hit? How does he not get lit up the way he closes? And he was doing great. Then things changed, though, So it's kind of fun to watch that as well out there. On the YouTube chat, Robert said closers. Oh, I already read that one. Velocity helps. Robert says Phillies fans are delusional. Well, yeah. It is amazing, isn't it? But Ethan goes, yes, they are. They're a very passionate fan base. Look, like I told you guys, like I said it when Dale was in here. The Phillies are lucky they have the Mets in their own division, let alone in baseball. Phillies payroll ain't cheap, folks. They have underperformed for the last several years. Underperformed, even in the playoffs. That Diamondback comeback to beat them in that playoff year, 23, to go to the World Series, never should have happened on paper, right? That's why you play the games, though. They have so much talent, so much money in there with that talent base, and they just can't get over that hump. They're just underperformed city there in Philly. And that's why I kind of joked around when I don't remember if Crux said it or somebody else on the broadcast. There was a 3-man booth at the time. I'm not sure if somebody else said it at the time, but they were just pounding like Bryce Harper just wants to win a World Series here, and that's his dream, and he's trying so hard to get there. And I'm just like, move. I'm sorry, folks, you're not winning a World Series in Philadelphia. Of course, now that I said that, they'll probably go on a run and win it, right? Early in the show, we gave you Shanahan's update. Not necessarily Shanahan's update. We're just calling it the update. Maybe we need to do a little sounder here on that. Shanahan update. But here's the other thing I wanted to talk about. I told you LeBron James jerseys. I did it on the business show today. McCollum on Business on demand now on YouTube and on Rumble as well. Of course, catch it live at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. Don't forget, we'll be here tomorrow, folks. We've started our 5-day-a-week, the normal work schedule here after we took a little bit of a summer break on Fridays here for the last month, a month and a half or so. But LeBron James jersey sold through the roof. When I saw this announcement here, my first thought was, who's going to watch this? Who's going to watch it? But then I read the story about the jersey sales and how record jersey sales in 24 hours after he made his announcement he's going to Philadelphia, record sales of his Philadelphia 76ers jersey. The 76ers jersey sold faster and higher quantity than it did when he went to the Lakers and signed with the Lakers. Right? LeBron James and ESPN are closing in on an agreement for a behind-the-scenes documentary series that will be similar to Michael Jordan's The Last Dance. So it's going to be a behind-the-scenes documentary on LeBron James's final seasons, right, here in Philadelphia. It's expected to use footage from his entire career, including some of the never-before-seen footage. It's expected that LeBron will also have a camera crew documenting his time with the 76ers this season. I mean, do it. It's what LeBron's always wanted to have done for him. But to compare it to The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, that's where it kind of turns me off a little bit. My problem with LeBron James and this style of a format is we don't know who the real LeBron James is, meaning the public. He's got friends. Rich Paul, obviously his agent, and that agency knows him pretty well, knows the real him. Publicly, though, we don't know the real LeBron. To me, he's one of those guys that's just fake in the public. That's not the real him. So my initial thought on this documentary is, oh my God, he's always going to be quote unquote on while the cameras are on him. He's always going to be like, he's going to be looking to do, after a game and the 76ers lose, he's going to stand up in that locker room and give a speech, a win one for the Gipper type speech when you normally wouldn't do it, right? He's going to be sitting in his locker with a book. Maybe the book will be right side up this time. Maybe the book won't be in chapter 1 when he opens it up and pretends like he's reading it. It's just going to be performative action. With The Last Dance and Michael Jordan, you saw the real Michael Jordan, the competitive, the laughing at his teammates, and his competitors out there and things. You saw the real Michael Jordan. I believe that's the real Michael Jordan. I think this is just going to give us the fake LeBron James, the public LeBron James, where, he's going to walk around with glasses on now to look smarter, right? He's going to go up to his teammates, and instead of talking basketball, he's going to talk about, the politics of the day and how he thinks he would solve the Middle East turmoil happening right now. Stuff that doesn't happen in real life. I think that's what we're going to get with that documentary coming up. But then again, I go back to, I just saw how much jersey sales for the 76ers they sold in the first 24 and 48 hours. Outsold his amount of jerseys he sold when he went to the Lakers. To the 76ers. There's obviously an audience out there for LeBron James that's going to tune into this. Good for them. Just that's my initial reaction. We're going to see the LeBron James that he wants you to see. Not the real LeBron James. The whole point of these documentaries in my eyes is we see the real person, good or bad, in my opinion. Like Michael Jordan, we saw the Michael Jordan. Now, I'm sure some things are hidden. I'm not saying it's everything. I'm sure some things are hidden. It's just, we've already seen LeBron pull out a book in his locker. We've already seen him trying to give a speech. It just fails miserably because his teammates are staring at the wall instead of listening to him. I don't know. It's just going to be fun. But there you go. If you're interested in that, I don't mean to poo-poo it if you're interested in that. That being said, I'll probably watch it. When it comes out end of the year, maybe we'll do a review of it here as well as we talk about that coming up here. So Diamondbacks are off today here on this Thursday. Off day for them, which is good in that second spot as of right now. Then they go at Cleveland starting tomorrow for 3 at Cleveland to end the month of July. Cleveland's a beatable team. Now, they are in the playoff situation. I'm looking it up right now. I believe they're in the third spot in the AL. Let me look it up here. They are. They're one game ahead of the Astros right now. Astros are making a run, by the way, into this playoff. They won 3 in a row. I know. It was all over Sports Center last night when I was paying attention to that. Astros are 8-2 in their last 10, so they're making a run up here. But Cleveland Guardians are in that last place spot in the AL. A game above the Astros, game and a half above the Twins on the outside looking in, 2.5 ahead of the Seahawks. I'm sorry, the Seahawks, the Mariners. Wrong Seattle team. So there we go. Guardians, another team that's in the playoff hunt. That, 56 and 54. You just lost 2 out of 3 to the Nationals. Won 2 out of 3 against the Pirates. Equal teams to you. Now you got the Guardians, another equal team to you that you have to go out there and get it done. So off day today for the Diamondbacks, coming up later on today. Now in terms of the Cardinals training camp, look, we're last couple of days are the padded days out there, full pads. I'm not kidding you. I was joking around earlier that Carson Beck just had to get some pads on him, and all of a sudden he could start throwing downfield. I made that joke, but it's true what happened. He was a very dink and dunk guy early in camp. Yesterday, all of a sudden, he starts launching them a little bit farther downfield, right? The running game, you can single out Love and the way he looks here early in the early in camp. Looks good. How's that? The running back game for the Cardinals is going to be good. They're going to have a solid core of running backs, barring they stay healthy all season, whatever the combination is. Does Trey Benson stay on this team? Is he the last man out? Somebody else the last man out? But they're going to have a solid running back squad out there. Wilson looks good. Trey, of course, looks good, right? Some of the other receivers that are in camp here are looking good so far. We talked about Marv earlier, and I hope he can figure it out. He needs to figure it out. I hope he does. But my bigger point on that is just simply it could be worse, right? What you don't want to see early in camp is your team just suck in, throwing a ton of interceptions, running game not doing anything, passing game. So they're on the pace of where you want them to look early in camp. Does it mean anything? No. Absolutely not. It means nothing. Is the Hall of Fame game next Thursday mean anything? No, it means absolutely nothing. But you can watch it. Now, keep in mind, NFL training camps are soft. Dale talks about it all the time. They do their weigh-ins, they do their card conditioning, and boom, they're in pads hitting back when he played. Not happening here. But like I said, kind of like the NBA Summer League. You don't want to see guys out there just flailing and being terrible. That's not a good sign. At least so far we're seeing with the Cardinals competency and progress. We'll put it that way. We'll call it progress moving forward. And LaFleur's been speaking a lot, and I've been watching all of his press conferences and kind of taking it in. They put review boards up in the stadium, so now they're putting him in their Tempe facility as well, so they can review stuff right away. Basically you finish a play, and you can turn around, and it'll be replayed up there, and you can coach in the moment. Pretty fantastic what they're doing with that type of stuff out there and things like that. I like LaFleur so far. He even came out and said, look, I'm going to make bad play calls. Carson Beck, he specifically named Carson Beck, he needs to learn what to do and how to handle my bad play calls. Not every play caller is 100% correct and does a great job out there. So LaFleur seems to have this awareness we haven't seen a lot from coaches so far here with the Cardinals. Gannon especially. He has an awareness so far, at least the way he talks. Now, could it be dangerous where it moves into telling us too much? Possibly. But as of right now, I don't think so. I like LaFleur as the coach so far. Now, can he get this team together to perform with the hard schedule that they have coming up is kind of the question. Injuries are already starting. A Detroit Lions starter yesterday got hurt, carted off the field at one point. A Cincinnati Bengal, I think it was a defensive lineman, planted his foot. And if you don't want to see the video, don't look at it, because that thing bends in ways it's not supposed to there as well. So we're seeing some injuries. Of course, first training camp for the Panthers, they lost their reported starting linebacker as well coming into that. So just knock on wood, Cardinals stay healthy here as we continue through it. And then we're going to start, obviously, with the Rams, Seahawks, already 49ers all in training camp now. We're going to start paying attention to them going forward. 49ers are going through injury stuff right now. Purcell, Ricky goes into camp, still dealing with an swollen leg off of his knee injury last year. What was that, meniscus, I believe, for the 49ers flaring up here at the beginning of camp and things. Obviously, Brock Purdy is coming back from some injury stuff as well going into this. Kittle started on the PUP list. I don't think he's been recalled yet. So it's interesting to see early in camp how some of these teams are dealing with some of these injuries. Are they long-term injuries or not? It's like Uncle Lou always says, folks. Don't go overs here too early because an injury could swamp that pretty quickly here. And speaking of Uncle Lou, well, he's here in the building. So let's take our top of the hour break. Come back, second hour with Uncle Lou from Gabblue.com, a contributor on VSiN as well. All around good guy. Let's not forget that. Uncle Lou coming up next, folks. And we're back here, second hour main event. Lou, do me a favor, lower that chair down, would you? your head's sticking out. Your head's cut off there. Uncle Lou comes into the show every Thursday. Of course, top of the hour at 9 o'clock. And NFL talk, now that the NFL season's coming up, start ramping that up with them. Hall of Fame game next week. And then, of course, a UFC talk with Uncle Lou out there as well. And just a fun time. Have loving you in. He was talking earlier, calls everybody Riley around here, even though Ethan now is insulted by it and everything.
Steve's son is here helping us out and directing things, and I've been calling him Riley. Riley was the producer 2 producers ago.
I was going to say, it's been a while.
We had Kobe in between. I called Kobe Riley for 6 months. What are you going to do?
Don't make, I won't speak for Kobe or anybody, but I'll tell you this, right? Ethan will do dumb things to you on here, not make you look good.
I know. So. I don't need some funny mustache.
Hey, as Ethan's dad, trust me, he does some vindictive things sometimes when he gets mad. But in all seriousness, Lou joins us. Find him Gabblue.com, of course. Hit him up, VSiN, contributor for VSiN shows. You'll see him on some podcasts. His number of UFCs come out as well on Twitter and on X and things to that effect. And Lou, we got another morning UFC fight this weekend. We'll get into that in a little bit. You're shaking your head no, like a disappointed look on your face.
Gotta love it.
Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. I like these morning ones.
All about it.
It's not as big of a card for a guy like me. It's not as big as a card. But there's just something about rolling out of bed in the morning, or even laying in bed in the morning and waking up and just flipping it on Paramount Plus and then done by noon and you're back home. Now, an hour later, it's a 10 a.m. start this week than last week was, but I love it as well. But, Lou, tell everybody where you are, what you're doing, of course, overseas again. Let's introduce you to our crowd that tunes into us with the overseas events.
Well, to anyone that tunes in, my name is Lou Finicaro. I'm a sports handicapper, been doing it for decades now. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to create a presence of myself in the gambling world, which is my webpage, gamblu.com. There you can find out everything about me. I do, it says daily blog. They're really only about once a week,
I say
to be
weekly.
quite honest. But as football comes up and we get into these next weeks and start talking more, I'm going to put short, powerful positions together because there's so much misinformation and misdirection about what the real gambler should do right now anyway. Getting back to Gamblu, that's my platform. You can find out about me by hitting the tabs on the top of the web page. All the bands are there. And the one most dear to us is the far right one that Ethan's hitting right now, the San Xavier Del Bach mission, just south of Tucson, Arizona. It's the oldest mission in the States, and it's a recipient of direct Gamblu contributions through the webpage. We're happy to do it. We're happy to advertise it. And Steve gives me 30 or 40 seconds each week to discuss the webpage, our affiliation and our allegiance and respect for the San Xavier mission. And then finally, my podcasts, which are 2 a week. One is on a Sunday that comes out. It's called the Sneak Teat Podcast. It's an opening line report that says, here's 5 or 6 fights from this card that opened here, and now the line's here. So we track early movement with those. And that's going to be much more important in the next few weeks as we move ahead, because everybody that's been betting the UFC the last 2 months, and that's a lot, are going to drop us like a hot potato and run to football as soon as the Hall of Fame game hits. So the market for the UFC will drop substantially. And so that's when you really want to look at some line changes. The second podcast is the About Business podcast. It's on Fridays. It's my final releases. You can get it by going to the webpage or wherever you get your podcasts. And thank you so much.
Absolutely. And Ann chimes in on the YouTube chat. Don't forget, live on YouTube now as well. We're going to, we kind of kept it quiet. We were doing that. We're going to start promoting that for you, Lou, so everybody can watch us live here as well. But Ann chimes in on that chat and says, love the matching shirts. Yeah, we got together this weekend and decided, hey, which blue shirt are you wearing today? Yours is a Creighton shirt.
Mine's a Creighton shirt.
Yeah, mine's just a regular.
And so I'm blue and black, but
I'm at the age where I don't wear labeled stuff anymore.
I'm just happy to have the red background.
Exactly, to counteract it from that side. But I didn't even notice that until she typed that in, of course,
not.
as well.
Ben, I didn't either.
Well, tell me about Saratoga, man. How's that going for you? Horse racing, you're big into that?
I mean, I was all fired up yesterday, and it rained, and today it's going to rain. So I don't know if it's even going to run.
So no run. No, they don't delay it. What happens if it gets called out? Do they move it to another day, or is it just not go?
They shuffle like the UFC does. They react. I don't know how. I don't really have all those answers. I didn't
even think about that. Yeah,
you can't. I mean, we're in Phoenix. If you plan a picnic in Phoenix for November or February or March or June, it doesn't matter. When that day comes, you're having a picnic, okay? When you live in the Midwest or the other parts of the country that have weather, you can plan a certain weekend. You're hoping a day before that the weather stays away. So I feel for Saratoga. That whole community thrives on this 6-week meet, and so you want them to have good weather, and I want them to have good weather. So, but last weekend, I ended up pretty strong. So,
do they? No, it's grass at Saratoga.
There's turf and dirt.
Okay, so they can run if it's wet. They just don't want to be puddled. I'm assuming. Am I wrong on that? They want to dry.
If it's wet, if it's too wet, they'll take them off turf.
Yeah.
Because they can't tear up the sod.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And they'll move them to dirt. Well, that makes you lose a lot of field because a lot of horses just run on grass, especially like European bred distance horses. They just run on grass.
Yeah,
and they're not going to run on dirt. So your fields change.
Okay.
Things get awful odd. It's like two lefties in a fight. However, that can provide great opportunities sometimes. And so a muddy day or an off track, I mean, you always hear, it's a term that I endear to myself. He's a mudder. That means that horse likes to run in mud. That's a guy that's excels in off situations. And the racetrack today could be an off situation. Unfortunately, by the time I get to it, it's probably going to be, I'll only have 2 or 3 races left today after.
Yeah, well, I can tell you right now, the update is, I just happen to have the website up here.
Baby.
Races 2, 5, 9 are off the turf. Race
Yes.
race 8 has been canceled today as well.
So only 7
coming up. So, yep. Some so then they go into the wagers have been canceled and all of those rules. But so those adjustments have already been made. I'm watching the live broadcasting of it. And it looks really cloudy right now. I don't see any rain coming down right now. But they're either anticipating it or, like you said, the ground has been damaged enough to where they can't have them run on of them and stuff. So they're moving it there.
They got bombed yesterday.
Yeah, so 8 could have been canceled because they moved it off the turf, and then horses were like, we can't run on that, and enough canceled, I guess. So, but that's what I was wondering. Now you do all that money, you get your horse into this event, and then it can't run, and then move it to another day.
I suppose every sport has its adapt and overcome.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
now, the meet you want to be at, the meet that the jockeys are at, the meet that the trainers are at, is where the money is at. And where's the money at? The money's at Saratoga. So they all want to be there. They'll find a way to stay there, get there, arrive there, and do their best there.
Well, absolutely. So there's your Saratoga update.
That's why you like to bet it.
Yeah, absolutely. Lou's, he doesn't publish anything. You don't put anything out on Twitter about Saratoga
It's
or
so
anything.
difficult
Yeah.
because I'm waiting. First of all, I'm listening a lot to the guys. Here's my best tip.
Yeah.
I use TVG, and they bring you live odds transmission. That's what I need from them. But the Fox Day at the Races, even though it's a good 3 minutes behind the TVG feed, they have horse specialists there, a couple young ladies, Maggie Wolfendale, and the other one, her name is Clement. Very attractive, but more than attractive, these girls are sharp, know the business, can tell if a horse has a pimple on its rear end or something. I mean, they're very good. In the Fox transmission with the gambling experts, Jonathan Kitchen, Paula Duca, ex-baseball player, they really feed you great information. So that on one TV, TVG here, in a racing form here, help me try and ascertain how I want to attack this. I'm not a professional horse player. Overall, the first year at Saratoga 2 years ago, I had a really good meet. So I was all that, thought I really knew what I was doing. Last year, I got clobbered. And so now I'm coming in with a little more respect this year, and I'm just starting out. I thought I'd let the early weeks in July kind of go, and now we've got about a good 5-week meet here as we start August. So this week is really going to be my first week in, but we're being affected by weather. So.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the feed on the Saratoga site. They give you a preview, and then you can log in and do all that to get it. It's interesting because, I think it's race 4. Like 4 horses have scratched on that one. They're putting it. It's like a snow day. Which schools are closed if you're from the snow area. Literally at the bottom it says race 4, and it has like 4 horses that are scratched. Right. One of them, like in race 5, a jockey change has happened because of the weather and the way they're racing race 5. So it's all right down the bottom. So it's changing as we are speaking out there. On all the changes that happened during. So race 4 is still going to go. It's just now they're without 4 horses.
Yeah, none of which helps Saratoga, the transmission, the feed. Everybody, no one benefits by this weather. No one, I guess, except the agriculturalists in New York, and that's important. There's wine business up there, so I get they need rain, but it's just something we in Phoenix don't even think about.
Yeah,
schedule it here. It's
like
here.
race 9's off. They just announced this. Race 9's off the turf, but it's going to be the same distance as the turf, but run on the dirt at that point. Maybe, changes race 9. It says right there. And then a bunch of horses are scratched in that one too.
All right. Well,
I know. I'm just saying. It's just
the
feed is interesting, is what I'm getting at here. And I'm fascinated by this rain thing because I didn't even think about that.
It's
how things can change on a rain day.
Especially here. It's okay. All Thursday, I groom my day. I'm going to get home at 1:45 and catch the last 3 races. You get there and it's like, it's not on TV. What happened? Well, there's only one answer.
Yeah, the bad answer, right? That we have to deal with that. But then we got NFL going on here. Like I was talking about this beforehand, before you came on here. I know you were in here and overheard me talking about it. Like the 49ers, right? They show up to camp. Christian Kirk has a calf injury. Jordan James has broken ribs now in a few days of camp. Ricky Pearsall's a knee injury where his knee's swelling up from his knee injury last year again. Obviously, Kyle Shanahan's not there. Brandon Ayuk, he's got his own set of problems that I don't think is as big of a distraction because they dealt with it last year. But this is what training camp can bring certain teams out there, Lou. So you liking that under on the Niners? Just kidding.
I what I like is what I rely upon, and that is most journalists to be so starved to try and talk about something, okay? Because baseball is dry toast, bro. All right, we're in August and the dog days of baseball. It's before the play. We're way before playoffs, and when a team comes to Phoenix and they're from Montreal or Toronto or New York or Milwaukee, they come to Phoenix, they go to Scottsdale at night. There's no playoff game. Now, when the playoffs hit, different story. But the dog days of August, when there's nothing to do, and every VSiN, the network I contribute to, and they hate me talking like this. I'm Mr. Downer. The sports books, they hate me because I'm telling you, are you out of your mind? If you got to bet, you got to bet an under, but don't just start betting now because we're getting close. I try and bet. Everything on my webpage is designed so that my bets make money and we earn profit. I track all my results. And so it's about winning. It isn't about any kind of feeling I get because I place a bet. And so you have to try and resist what they want you to do because they're not selling tickets to baseball. They know it. And so they tell everybody to talk about football. And it's just Steve's a typical guy. He has to fill the airwaves. And so what's he going to talk about? And what's he fueling? Overreaction. Steve, please continue to be the
you want me to do that, Lou.
I'm happy about it. I'm not upset. I love it. I turn on Good Morning Football, and they're talking, and then I talk the ESPN show, and that gal they put on her makeup on with a paint roller. She's talking about stuff. So right now, everybody's talking and creating over opinion. Meanwhile, what I'm trying to do is do my study, team by team, game by game, week by week, and look at it like a complete oddball. I am trying to stay one step ahead of where everyone is, if that makes any sense. And so I have odd advice, odd approaches, but really good results.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about when I feel overreaction, folks. Carolina Panthers, Arizona Cardinals, Hall of Fame game next week. Carolina Panthers are minus 125 favorites going into this, plus 105 for your Arizona Cardinals coming up here.
That's on the money line there. What's the first half money line?
I didn't look that up, Lou.
Yeah,
I just brought it up just to be funny after your comment there.
Ain't nobody knows what's gonna.
No starters are even playing the first series in this. It just cracks me up how. Yeah, I just saw it in here, so I just.
So they're going to have it as a pick, and what? What was the total?
Total's 36.5.
Yeah, so they'll have 18.5 and pick them because they don't know any more than me.
I know. No, I just brought that up just because you were making fun of me. That's what I want to bring up next.
Okay,
your Diamondbacks.
Thank you. I was just
you are a Torey Lovello fan. You go to Diamondbacks games on Wednesdays. And everything. And by the way, we'll get more into NFL, obviously, as preseason games start, and we'll start delving into that a little bit more. But D-backs second in the wild card standings, Lou, going into after their game yesterday. They're off today as well. And it's funny because me and Dale yesterday with a closer situation, they moved their closer out now, and he blew another save. The lack of hitting. 3 for 27 in runners in scorer position. And you look at this team and you can be so negative on them with the way they're playing. But then you go, wait a minute, they're second in the wild card standings. It is a weird dichotomy that we're facing with this Diamondbacks team. I know you love them. I know you like what they do out there. You're excited they're in that second spot. So
I don't love nothing. I love my wife and family.
Yeah, you love them.
I really like this coach for the Diamondbacks though, because I believe that he's done more with less for several years. I mean, they went to the World Series for crying out loud a couple years ago out of nowhere. He hasn't forgotten how to coach. It's hard to win. They got those big, huge bully Dodgers with unlimited budget, and that's the way the rules write. So that's who they got to contend with. But meanwhile, we're just on the other side of the break. It's getting the important part of the season. And instead of 5 games behind the Padres like they were all first half, they're 3 or 4 games ahead of them. So I'm not here to tell you they're winning the World Series.
Game and a half up in the wild card standings, if I remember right.
I'm not here to tell you they're winning the World Series. I'm here to tell you that I believe this team will start playing their best ball as we move on. And let's see if that happens. And I think it's because of the coach, the chemistry, what they've been building. And it takes a lot to win. We'll see. But right now, I'm really happy for that coach.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's just an interesting position to be in, but you can't deny the fact that they're in that second wildcard spot, fighting for a wildcard spot.
That's what Bill
with
Parcells
2 weeks to go.
says.
Yeah,
you are what your record says you are, man.
Yeah, it is amazing to see. And look, Lou, I know I give you a hard time to say that you love him, and I know you don't like that term when it comes to sports, but you go to the day games and you like Torey Lovullo, and you see it. And your opinion of the Diamondbacks are they're going to go on a run here and fight for this playoff spot, I'm assuming.
Well, I have them to make the playoffs from the beginning of the season, and I have the Padres to miss. So that race I've been watching that all season long, and I just finally got a nose in front. We'll see if we can keep it. It just depends. But from the beginning of the season, I thought that the Diamondbacks could be a playoff team in the wake of the Dodgers. Let's see if they can get that done. I know I'm rooting for them, and whatever my couple unit bet is on it, it doesn't matter to me. I'd rather lose it if it meant the D-backs did better.
Yeah,
I really
right.
Do.
Yeah.
I really respect what that coach does.
Yeah, it is funny. And yes, folks, those of you that watch the whole sports program, I get a lot of flack for people go, you don't like Torey Lovullo. No, I think he's a good coach. I just think it's time the Diamondbacks move on from him and things to that. So it is funny, and then you fully support him from that side. So it is an interesting perspective here that we deal with.
Opinions are what make the world go round, and good radio is oftentimes built on varying opinions. If you can just be delivered with some form of respect, it usually benefits the listener.
Everybody, everybody has opinions. There's no doubt about that.
And one more thing, by the way, since I'm interrupting also.
No, you're all good.
I came in ready to talk a little bit about the Cardinals, if you want.
Yeah,
I'm not afraid to talk a little
football. If you're ready, I don't want to step on your toes, and when you want to start unveiling stuff.
There's just so many unknowns with the Cardinals. Right?
Well, I agree with you on that. And I'll tell you what I did before you talk about that. You can laugh at me if you want.
Set me up.
I took the Cardinals over 3.5 for the season.
You slime ball.
$10
because you listened to me earlier on.
Well, I read an article. And I started thinking, it's hard. This is my thought process. It's hard to only win 1 or 2 games. It's almost like you have to try to win 1 or 2 games, meaning you want to win that. I think there's 4 wins for the Cardinals on the schedule and things to that effect. New head coach means they're not going to quit on this coach, probably. You're hoping throughout the season. This isn't like last year with Jonathan Gannon. Will they quit on him? Stuff like that. Young team, but a team that has a lot of talent on it. I think there's some wins maybe early in the season, and that, surprised a couple of these playoff contending type teams. So that's why I did it. I did it about a week ago now, over 3.5 Arizona Cardinals for me. So that's my thought process with them. I'm not saying they're winning a Super Bowl. I think they can get to 5 wins this year. If everything goes right for them, they can get to 5 wins this year. So that's why I went that route.
I tend to agree with all of that. The question will be that how terrible the defense was last year and what they've done almost nothing to fix it. As far as my approach to the Cardinals is their first 9 games, 6 are away and 3 are at home. Listen to who they're at. Chargers, Niners, Rams, Seahawks,
losses,
Cowboys.
Yeah, I'll win.
I mean, those first 9 games are hatchet matches. Maybe at New York is manageable, but by that time, if they're 1-5 or 1 or 4, then he's going to be nervous. Number one, and
I'm expecting
2,
him to be there, Lou.
The market's going to adjust.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's how I look at it. I'm not in a hurry. I'm very bullish on Arizona, and if they win 2 games of those first 9, then I'm going to be out of opportunity. But I'm going to plan on them having a tough time with that first 9 games of their schedule. And if they go into that 1-8, 2-7, their season total wins is still only going to be 3 or 4 games. And it's at that point in time where I might jump on board, because when I look at the second half, I'm not afraid of at Kansas City. Kansas City's a team I don't believe in this year. Versus Washington, versus Philly, late bye, not bad. Then Jets, New Orleans, Raiders. Bing, 1, 2, 3. That's late. That's week.
That's what I'm banking on, Lou.
15, 16, and 17. So you're really backloaded in the schedule. So rather you can take them early. I would not discourage anybody. I would also take a look at 4.5 and go over the 4.5, where you're going to get ridiculously plus number.
You get a huge number there.
Their defense is going to have to improve. Their offensive line, 26th ranked, is going to have to find some way to protect that quarterback and that new coordinator.
They've improved that offensive line this offseason.
26th ranked is, I believe, what my people tell me, and
it's what they're going to be this year.
That's what they are coming into the season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they've improved their left side of the line with Paris Johnson Jr. Holy cow, I forgot the cat's name that they brought in, the veteran. The left sides have been well improved, and so you're on the same page. I know we're on the same. I know we talk, so it's not like this is all my idea.
Williams, they brought in a guard named Biscotti.
Yeah,
they got a D lineman named Proctor. That guy, I think.
Well, he's out for the season with a knee injury from the draft.
Right?
Yeah,
that's too bad.
But you're getting Walter Nolan's healthy. He's been in practice. If he can stay healthy, you're getting him, quote unquote, back. Walter Nolan.
If is also the biggest word you'll hear this time of year.
Yeah.
If my aunt had whiskers, she'd be my uncle.
No, but we're thinking the same here, because I know
I'm bullish on the Cards.
Yes, I know. I kind of thought about that, but I'm like, Giants are. If you just look at their strength, because you didn't name their home games either, by the way, which is Seattle. They
have the number one.
So they're on the road with tough matchups, but then they come home and you don't get really big of a break.
No, they have the worst strength of schedule.
I think the Giants on the road, it's going to be tough on the road, of course, but that's an easy. So if you can get 1, or dare I say 2 early season, like you said, that back half, and I don't think this team will quit on their coach, because he's a new coach, right, and a young coach on top of that. So I think the end of the schedule with the Jets, Saints, Raiders, you've got kind of a run that could possibly happen for this Cardinals late in the season. It's going to upset everybody, Lou, because everybody wants them to get that number 1 draft pick.
I don't think you're going to have much room to wiggle going into that Jets game. So after that bye, those 3 games are going to be huge for the Cards, and that's when we'll know where we stand.
Yeah.
So. But overall, I love to find and I'm not releasing the Cardinals yet. I'm just telling you I'm not afraid of them. And the reason I'm not releasing them is because in 2 weeks, if Brissett has a shoulder injury, I don't have money on him yet. I'm good, okay? I'll bet an under on Team X, Y, or Z, because that injury only helps me and helps me win my bet. I'm in it to win money. And so I'm not going to bet stupid and bet a team to go to the Super Bowl, to win the Super Bowl, to win to their division, to exceed their total. No, I'm not doing that. They want me to, but I'm not a sucker. I'm not doing it. Well, I'm only going to do it if an injury can benefit me. Do I want anyone to get injured? No, but is the reality of this sport injuries? Listen to Steve's half hour before I came on rattling off bunch of freaking third string guys that
what I'm getting at is Niners were the most injured team last year, or one of the most injured teams last year, still made a playoff run, right? And we're still good. Are injuries going to go away for them coming up here as you look at their number on the line? That's what you have to decide. It wasn't
just last year. It's been for like the last 3 years, and they're even to the point where they practice under power line, so they're thinking they got to move them.
Yes,
I mean, there's that much talk about it. To be honest, but
so
normally,
that's the perspective on the Niners that I'm just presenting to people is, how long do you continue with all these injuries happen? Now it's preseason and early in camp. Purcell's going to be fine, in the long run. But if you're looking at that and you're projecting into the season with injuries for them, just go, maybe one of these years it's just got to fall apart for them. You would think, but it hasn't yet. That's for sure.
They were decimated with injuries last year, and Shanahan kept it together. But this Shanahan thing can't be good what's happened
With the
I
accident?
don't know how that helps that team, to be honest, and the way it's been handled. And so
yeah, I brought up that scenario today too. I mean, put it in this perspective, because somebody reported they asked for the body cams and the police report and the 911 call through the FOIA request, and they came back and said we're not releasing that stuff. So you're gonna have to do a lawsuit now. So I brought up this point earlier in the show. Just put yourself in the scenario of December, maybe January, playoffs are going on, and all of a sudden you win the lawsuit. Whoever the journalist is or the entity wins the lawsuit, and then they're releasing that stuff. And let's say it doesn't look good for Shanahan.
Shanahan and the NFL have more money than anyone that's going to sue them, and that'll get pushed off the season.
Because then all of a sudden you have this giant distraction going into the playoffs or
creating
something.
Fables with that. Don't run away with yourself. Good God, you're worse than my wife. If this happens, then this will happen. I'm like, yeah, but if monkeys jump out of my ear, here's what'll happen.
I'm just saying, you can have an added distraction at some point later on this year.
Let's talk about real teams. You got another team you want to
Sayamalu, by the way, is the other left offensive lineman I was thinking about that they signed this weekend. The Arizona Cardinals' left side of the offensive line is pretty solidified. The right side's more of kind of a question, with Adams getting in trouble with stuff out there. Well, I wanted to ask you, because you did talk about Ravens under, I believe it was 11.5 a few weeks ago. Things of that. Warren Sharp, I saw the other day, revised his easiest and hardest schedules out there. And Ravens are the 5th easiest schedule, according to him, on his revision here as well. Now, new coach, new coaching staff. Defense has fallen apart these last few years. I kind of have to rebuild that a little bit there. Change your opinion at all on the Ravens with the least number of the schedule?
Of the information. No, I had that information in early June or in early July. That's how I build these things off Warren Sharp's work, and so I track that. And if you want to talk about Baltimore, just give me a minute.
Pull it up. But no, that's just all it was. It just as an update, because when you see these revisions and changes, it's just fun for me to come back and just see what Uncle Lou thinks.
You lead me right in. 5th easiest strength of schedule, but they play against way tougher defenses this year. Yeah, Jesse Minter comes in. He was the defensive backs coach for Baltimore some years ago. He comes in his first year to be head coach, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. Minter's a defensive-minded guy. You got the whole regime of Harbaugh going out, and I saw an interview with the quarterback yesterday, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And tell him, he's once I pick this up, we're going to because it's going to be quick, and he's pushing us. And so it's a new offense for Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson is a quarterback that I believe is most effective when he's using his spontaneity and he's running the football. And now, as a mature guy coming off injuries, I believe that's going to be quelled. That part of his quarterbacking is going to go away. And as they try and make him more stable, I'm not saying he's not going to run. I'm sure he will. It'll be more guarded. They got to worry about injury, but that means he's going to have to do more deciphering of defenses quick. And I don't believe that's a skill that's one of his strengths. And so now we're going to put pressure on the quarterback position with a whole new offensive system. And the schedule is great. Offensive line ranked 24th. Okay, that's why he was beat up last year. Their offensive line couldn't stop anybody. Net rest -3 days through the schedule they have of net rest over or against opponents. That's the 8th worst in the NFL. So offensive line ranked 24th. Wide receiver group ranked 25th. Head coach now coming in, at least to Warren, ranked 27th.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be a very difficult schedule and a very difficult assimilation for what's left of this Raven team, especially a defense that's somewhat questionable and has lost some people. They brought in Calais Campbell. Great move, because he's going to add spirit and tradition to him. He does wherever he goes. But I think that's not going to be enough. And I think that NFC North is all going to look like mashed potatoes together. Yeah, maybe Cleveland a little lower. But I don't believe in Cincy. I don't believe in Baltimore. And I kind of believe in Pittsburgh.
You kind of believe in Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers, huh?
I see those three being much more closely clumped together than many might.
Yeah, Cincinnati, I think, barring Burrow's health, I think Cincinnati's poised to to stick their head back up again this year. Now it all comes down to health with them, right?
Well,
and how they look.
They have the worst defense in the NFL.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Burrow's
what
health.
they do, nothing.
But that's what I mean. Burrow's health has to do there, where they're going to score a lot of points to outdo it to kind of have you out there.
That ain't how a championship team is built to me, but we'll
that's
see.
also not how you play in that division with the Ravens and the Steelers. Even when their defenses are bad, their defenses still are pretty good.
Yeah.
So no, those are the ones. Next week we'll continue on it because I do have questions. You mentioned that we'll talk about it next week. The Chiefs, the Texans are somebody I'm kind of watching right now. They got Tank Dell back. He's been cleared to practice again, but he's coming off some serious leg injuries and things to that effect. So we'll keep it rolling here over the next couple of weeks as well, leading into
the
season.
Get sucked into the NFL pretty easy.
Oh, that's the problem. I could talk all day in the NFL, and it's way too early to do so.
Well, not if you're talking about it like this.
No, but then the Detroit Lions are I just don't know what to expect from them. New offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator.
Easiest schedule.
Everybody's expecting them to kind of win that division right now. All the hype is they're going to come back and win that division.
Yeah,
I just sit here and I go, man, I just are unknown about them a lot. So those are the questions that we'll talk about and kind of lead into going that. Yeah, no, it's fascinating. And like I said, the Niners are a big question, but Seahawks, new offensive coordinator up there. I think that's a bigger loss than people are giving it. People just think Seattle's going to show up and win another 14 games and have the same offense. Folks, they lost Kubiak, best offensive coordinator in the game these last couple years. And people are telling me that they're going to go out there and do exactly what they did last year. I don't see it coming. And I don't know why I'm so alone on that. Don't get me wrong; they're still going to be good. They're going to still be good.
Seattle.
Yeah, I don't. They're still going to be good, but they're not going to be rolling like they were last year and things to that. To me, the Rams are the best team in this division. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback questions now with Baker. Their defensive lineman wants to be traded, and it's that fun time of year, Lou, where we get to talk about that and everything.
Both running backs, Bijan Robinson and Gibbs, are holding out. I mean, it's all everything that the people on the TV got to talk about.
It'd be interesting to know what the Atlanta Falcons over/under was, because Michael Penix isn't back from his knee injury yet. They got Tua in there. He's too injured to practice right now. So they just had to sign a guy off the couch, and I don't even remember who's on that team right now. Then Bijan's sitting out holding in because of a contract dispute and everything. It's like, man, so I started wondering if I should have had that under on the Falcons, whatever that was a few weeks ago before all this happened. Well, but those are the questions we'll talk about.
If anything, it should reinforce what I'm saying about trying to just take negative positions. I'm not a negative guy. Even though overall I bet no's and unders. And it's not because I'm negative. It's because the average Joe bets the chalk and over.
Yeah.
And if they're going to tax the over, I'm going to take the advantage and go the other way overall as a philosophy, not every game.
It's like schedule. Everybody thinks everybody's better than what they are. It's like schedule release day.
Well,
I joke around that.
They're all headed for the playoffs.
Yeah, that schedule comes out and everybody goes, my team's going to go 15-2. And it's like, so it cracks me up.
Everybody may not say that, but almost every other.
Everybody's optimistic about their things, right? And Speaking of optimism, another UFC fight overseas. Let's take our break here real quick. Come back. Couple of questions on last week's fight. Mike Davis, we're going to talk about, Lou. Prepare yourself for this talk. Because
you think you're going to beat me up worse than I beat myself up?
Well, that's what I want to bring up. You were beating yourself up pretty difficult on that fight. We'll talk about him.
Yeah.
And then, of course, a couple other ones on there as well. And then go ahead to this weekend. Coming up as well, this weekend in Serbia fights, 10 a.m. main card on Saturday morning. Come on back, folks. Main event with Uncle Lou. And we're back here. Main event with Uncle Lou. We got some NFL talk in here. Of course, talked some D-backs fun there. Saratoga earlier in the segment. But Lou's in here to talk a little UFC as well. Last weekend over there in the Arab Emirates is where the fight happened. A couple of fights I wanted to ask you about. Now, Mike Davis, I know you were high on last week. You know, in your podcast, you took him with the points. Then he went out there, and then afterwards, you could just tell with the tone on Twitter. I was telling you before that I almost texted you like, "You all right, man?" Because you were, you could kind of tell through the Twitter line that you're disappointed in how that fight went with Aliyev. If you don't know how it went, basically it was just a wrestling match, no striking happening at all. Ended up being a unanimous decision after 3 rounds here. And I asked Lou off air, and I'll see if I can, ask it in the right way here. Mike Davis, you expected Mike Davis to be able to get in a little bit of a boxing match with him. Is that a bad handicap? Or is that just Davis allowed Aliyev to wrestle him the whole time and wasn't able to get out of it? Or is it just you expected it to happen and Davis wasn't able to get it done?
Davis, if you watch, showed brilliant jiu-jitsu while on the ground in the first and second round by getting up off his back from a guy that's impossible to get up on. He knew he was going to have to do this, but not as incessantly as it was. As mixed martial arts should be ruled, Aliyev won the fight, but he won it based on top control. He inflicted no damage. Davis needed to be able to stand at range, or at least try and find a way to sting the local fighter and create enough advantage where he could keep him at the end of his punches. He just couldn't keep him off him. In a day and age where the UFC is evolving quickly away from that smothering grappler, I chose to take the dog in the grappler's hometown against the grappler, and I pay my price for taking that position.
Okay.
It wasn't close. I'm up. I don't like when I miss that bad. I should have known to stay away. I couldn't. I didn't. I pay, and we move on.
Next up, Dustin Jacoby ends up losing his light heavyweight bout there against Saidov. Sorry, I just all of a sudden forgot how to say his name there. Second round KO in this fight here for Dustin Jacoby. Loss here. He was the favorite going into this fight, Jacoby was. What happened in this fight, and does it change your opinion about Jacoby?
Well, he's on his way out anyway, and the Saeed Muhammad, just a young guy too fast and touched him up and knocked him good. Too young, too strong. Those are 2 ships passing in the night.
Okay. Because, it was an upset, but you had mentioned that last week on Jacoby as well.
No, we had Kuniev in a parlay against Fortune. He did the slow dance, what we thought would
with
happen.
Fortune. Yeah, well, it ended up being a KO in that third round. Fortune, he got to his ribs. And look, give Fortune a lot. He's a tough son of a gun.
No doubt.
Yeah, they'd be
and willing
in the second round. His ribs, I think it was the second round. You could tell he had rib damage, stayed in there. The commentators were like they should have stopped that fight, meaning the corner beforehand, and protect him from himself. And I tend to agree with that. He was damaged, but man, what Fortune and his toughness was an amazing thing to watch, even though it was
Kuniev and his size and might wasn't so bad either.
Yeah. From that perspective, yes, absolutely.
And then the main event was Frankenstein against freaking Mummy.
Before I get to that, Tamirov and Ursig. This was a pick'em fight here. First round KO for Tamirov here. Bringing this up because there's a pick'em fight going into it here between these 2 guys. Quick work here by Tamirov over Ursig. Change any opinions on Ursig at all with his loss?
No, it changes my opinion on Tamirov. The guy's a little bulldog. We'll see who can stand up to him. He ran right through Ursig. Ursig's a guy who can manage distance pretty good, but he needed to navigate this fight into the second round where Tamirov slowed down, get all swole up. He couldn't get it there. So hats off to Tamirov.
And then finally, you mentioned the main event here. I'm going to bring this up because one thing I've learned to kind of chuckle about when I'm watching UFC fights on Paramount Plus is, man, the announcers do their job. They hype these events up, these matches up.
Sure.
Oh, Guskov coming in, supposed to fight next week. He's ready to go. Yeah, he was training for a 3-rounder. So he's ready for a 5, and this is going into this match. It's going to be fantastic. In a 5/5 round, KO eventually in this fight here and everything. And he was a big underdog going into that. But I love the hype up. And then the fight happens. And they did it a couple times with some big favorites where they're like, oh, this guy's coming in and he's going to be able to do it. And then the fight happens and they're like, well, that you guys look silly hyping it that way. So that is a side note I'm enjoying
That's
with
their
Paramount
job.
Plus. Absolutely. And I'm enjoying that little side bet. But I will give Guskov a little bit of credit here. Big underdog, but made it to the 5th round. Eventually got KO'd here. But Ankalaev, just, man, like you said, it's slow fight. This was not an action-packed bout.
If you're buying tickets to stand in line as to who went to the 4th or 5th round with Ankalaev, the line's around the building. So there's that.
So you're saying everybody does it, is what you're
Gustav
saying.
stepped up too much,
Yeah.
and it showed. It was a one-sided Ankalaev fight, but Ankalaev isn't really a finisher. I mean, here's a guy against a guy that if you sneeze on Paul Craig, he gets knocked out. Went to the 5th round against Ankalaev on his debut, by the way. And with 2 seconds left in the 5th round, Paul Craig subbed Ankalaev. So Ankalaev is a good, solid Russian light heavyweight fighter. That's it.
Okay. Maybe I was shocked it went 5 rounds for a guy, but like you said last week, replacement fighter, but as a replacement fighter for both of them going into this, so the styles change going into it and stuff to that effect. Now this weekend we go to Serbia here, Belgrade Arena here from Serbia. This weekend, 10 a.m. is the main card again this week. Again, Lou, these fights you get a lot of regional guys in here. We do have women fighters in this fight. As you go to Serbia, as opposed to the Middle East area there.
Just one, though, right?
I think there's 2. Recall. Stephanie Luciano is one of them, and then Haley Cohen is another one there as well. All prelims here for this early one coming up in this one. But I'm going to leave it to you on the prelims, and you tell us which prelims we need to tune into here and pay attention to, because it's a lot of I don't knows on here in this prelim, starting 7 a.m. our time on the West Coast here, coming up this weekend on Saturday.
13 fights. 7 fights at 170 or more, so we get some big boys swinging. That's a good thing in a big cage. Serbia, they're going to be the rabid fight fans. Doesn't matter where you go, but they want to see quivering bodies on the ground. 17 countries represented, hugely international card, and so many have to travel in, and most traveling in have to then face a Serbian or a Montenegrin. That's another country right next to there. You've got fighters from Poland, Austria, so there's regional fighters all around. We need to know who those are and who they're fighting, that has to travel in from Canada, U.S., etc. So we go to one fight that we should be taking a look at, and that's Michael Oliveira. He's a contender series fighter making his debut. He comes in a big, heavy favorite over a guy named Oban Elliott coming in from Wales. Oban Elliott is underachieved, and he's talking about his new mental capacity and yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, he definitely has experience, UFC experience over the Oliveira, who's going to be physically imposing, looking next to him, 6-inch reach advantage. That'll be a really, really great fight. That Oban Elliott may be someone I'm looking at. And oh, by the way, he's the one that travels least, although Wales is a good distance. It happens to be a good distance away from Belgrade.
Let me ask you that. What did this fight open up at? Oliveira's, what was his number at the open?
Minus 275.
And he's minus 345 now, so that's moved really big his way.
Yeah, they're betting him.
I knew it was going his way. I wasn't sure how much.
They're putting him in parlays. Okay. I'm usually trying to bust those anyway. Another good fight there. Here's a guy from Montenegro, Dustin Todorovic. He's taking on a guy shipping in from Switzerland, Valentin. Valentin can grapple and wrestle a little bit, but he wants to stand and throw, and so does Todorovic. This should be a really fascinating fight. Both guys about the same size, reach. Well, I take that back. Valentin has about 3-inch reach advantage on him, so that's an advantage in a stand-up fight, which I expect this to be. Opening Valentin minus 130. Now he's what? Minus 155.
Minus 162, and we use
Yeah.
DraftKings on Thursday morning is where we're getting these numbers.
So shop around there. That should be a great fight. Not sure I really know who could win there. I lean to Valentin, but because he's a favorite, I'm not ready to release him yet.
Over under on that fight's
1.5.
1.5, but minus 130 to the under.
Yeah, I like the over quite a bit on that one.
Yeah.
Next fight is 185. And this is an interesting fight. Gil Urbina ships in, 6'3", going to be a couple 2-3 inches taller than his Serbian counterpart. Urbina's lost his last 2, and 3 of his last 4 he's lost by knockout in the first round. The guy's very chinny. However, he's aggressive and comes right at you, and he's trying to knock you out. And he gets this little anvil of a Serbian fighter that comes in from Octagon. This is his debut. His name is Sipo. Sipo's a finisher and a slugger. Sipo opens minus 400. Now he's what? Minus 300.
355 right now.
Now he's minus 355. This is your fight designed to stir the crowd up and get everybody excited. This is an absolute setup fight. And we've already used Sipo in our Gamblu.com page. If you want to get that release, you can check it out there.
Yep, on the blog.
And that's really what I got. Then there's a Romanian, a guy named Bogdan Grad, and he looks like Nosferatu, a skinny, bald-headed ghoul. And he fights this guy named Dennis Bazooka from
really
the
quick,
U.S.
folks. He does. I wouldn't have gotten that, but now that Lou mentions it,
That's exactly what he looks like.
nailed
If
it.
you see the fight, you'll say you're looking at the picture of Nosferatu there. It be that as it may, he's a decent fighter. He's got some power. He's fighting a guy in Dennis Bazooka. Doesn't do well to power. He's lost his last 3. Bazooka's shipped in to be a subject, but he don't like that idea too well. The money's actually come in on Bazooka a little bit. Grad open minus 250. What's he now, Steve?
He is minus 198.
Yeah, so there's been a little money come in on Bazooka here. That should be another good fight. The early part of this card, there'll be some compelling fights on.
Okay.
I'm just not sure how active I'm going to be there. I tend to do better when I focus on fewer fights and main card, where I really think that I have advantage in my matchups.
And that's a featherweight bout, the Grad Bazooka one. That over under 2.5 minus 145 to the over for that featherweight bout there, just so people have those numbers as of right now as well. Then getting into that main card, right? I mean, my UFC page has this really out of order here.
And mine are too, so we may not get these in order.
Exactly,
folks.
but we'll say Alexander Rakic here against Tybura here in this battle heavyweight bout. We have a 3. Let me get the update here. I want to say it's a 350 favorite for Rakic right now going into this fight. Serbia, Poland battling it out.
Actually, Rakic is a Serbian, but he lives in Austria. But,
Okay, they have a list of
excuse me.
Serbia.
He's an Austrian living in Serbia right now. Anyway, he switched camps and now lives in Serbia, be that as it may. 2 inches taller, 34 years old, 6 years younger. However, Rakic is moving from light heavyweight to heavyweight. So his last weigh-in was 205 or 206. And he's fighting a guy who in Tybura, who's 40 years old, 6 years the older man. He'll be taller than Tybura, and he'll look the more fit guy. Tybura's kind of pudgy. But Tybura has 8 subs. Rakic not having to lose the weight, yada, yada, yada. Enters having lost his last 3, Mirzakurnov, Ankalaev, and Yuri Prochaska. 3 top guys in that division. So it's going to be interesting to see how he reacts to the heavier weight, and if Tybura can take him late, this should be a fascinating fight. But I want to lean to Rakic, but I ain't paying that price. Maybe Rakic inside the distance. We'll have to
345 is his price, minus 345 right now. Over under 1.5, minus 220 to the over as well. Coming up in this fight as well.
What is he via finish?
Let me look it up for you here.
Perfect.
Stall for me for a second while I pull that up.
That'll keep him busy for 15 minutes while we talk further about this fight. So Rakic, what does he weigh in? Does he weigh 255? Because to me, that'll be too much too soon. Does he weigh 238? And then he's going to be giving away massive size and girth to a grappler in Tybura. And so there's a lot of questions in this fight. But if Rakic has it his way, he's keeping Tybura at the end and going to try and kick him or knock him out.
Yeah, Rakic
to win by finish.
KO is plus 120, submissions plus 1,400, decision plus 180 from that side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so that's an interesting fight. Here's another fight: Prepelec and Rebecki. Rebecki, 2 inches taller, he's square. Okay, he's a short, little sawed-off, bald Polish howitzer. This is a 155-pound lightweight fight. Rebecki gets marked up. You sneeze on him, you'll cause a 5-inch cut. I mean, the guy just wears it poorly, but he's a short Joe Frazier bobbing and weaving to get inside and land these huge body hooks, chin crosses, kicks, knees. From in close, this guy's really dangerous, but he takes a lot of whooping. And he's in a fight against a guy in Prepelec that's going to be 3 inches taller, comes in off defeats to Drew Dober and Benoit Saint Denis. And both these guys are lefties. That's going to throw an oddity into this fight where Prepelec is not totally out of this thing. And if you look at the price, they got Rebecki at minus what, 500?
Minus 700 right now.
I mean, they're just betting Rebecki like they know the final score. Prepelec is not as bad as that line indicates.
He's plus 500 right now.
That's all I'll say. He's better than a 5-1.
Over under 1.5 on this, minus 166 to the over in this fight as well. But yeah, that's a big line change there. If you like
Prepelec, you got to lean over. You got to hope it goes over because that's how he's got to beat Rebecki, is take him deep and let him look all swole up and slice him up.
And then I got to flip through this because this page is all messed up here this weekend as we deal with that. Jan Blachowicz and Navajo Sterling back in the ring.
Co-main. Let's go to give me the next one. Let's go to Ludovic Klein and Musayev.
They have that one listed as a prelim fight on my page. So yep.
Yeah, so Tofik Musayev and Klein, and it could be, but I can tell you it's going to be a great fight. Klein from Slovakia comes in after beating Rebecki, the guy we just talked about, the sawed-off Polish shotgun. So Klein's pretty capable fighter, primarily a stand-up guy, lefty. So he's odd. He opened minus 130. Now he's minus what, 250?
Yeah, 265.
Yeah, so they're steaming Klein, and I think that they're making a mistake. So here's another mistake that I think they're making that it could be me. Now, Musayev's an Azerbaijan fighter, so he should have been on the card last week. Isn't. 36 years old. He's 5 years older than Klein, but he's 3 inches taller. And he's a vice grip wrestler with some good hands. He beat, in his last fight, a guy named Bahamondes, who Klein has also beaten. So they come in, should be an interesting fight, but the steam to the local Klein might be a little unwarranted. Musayev might be someone I'll be looking at.
Over under 2.5, minus 175 to the over for this lightweight bout here between these two guys. So small guys in that big cage.
Yeah, 55-pounders, but I could easily see this go to decision. That's why Musayev maybe plus the 3.5, depending on what kind of price that would be, could be of interest.
Right now it's minus 110, what it's sitting at for right now as well.
And what's the total? 2.5.
2.5.
Over.
Minus 175 to the over.
Right. Okay. I like how that sets up.
So there you go, folks. And then, is there any other ones, Lou, before we get to that co-main event?
Now we go to Jan Blachowicz
and
UFC's Navajo Sterling. I'll just save you the embarrassment.
Well,
you got to know his last name, though. He's been fighting for years. He's a 43-year-old fighter, and we've covered him many times. Yes.
I'm distracted, Lou.
Well,
I was trying to figure out where everybody's at.
You haven't missed one that bad in a year.
I got, if you guys, behind the scenes here, the UFC page that I rely on is all out of order. And then I'm trying to find it on the gambling apps while I'm trying to find out, and I got all distracted and messed up. That's my excuse.
You're doing a lot of stuff.
But Navajo Sterling's back in the ring here as well, and he's the favorite going into this fight.
Yeah, he takes it on short notice. And why? Because Guskov, who Blachowicz was supposed to fight, took the fight this last week to go jump up and fight Ankalaev, creating a hole. So this big, huge, tall Aussie walks in, He's 2 inches taller than Blachowicz. He's 15 years younger at 28 than Blachowicz. He's way greener, hasn't fought that kind of competition. This is a huge step up for him. But Blachowicz is 43 years old, and though he's been in with great ones, he 2 fights ago fought who is the current champion, Aussie Carlos Olberg, to a fight where he could have easily won the decision, but they gave it to the Aussie. Okay, fair fight, but razor close. So if Blachowicz was 38, I could easily see me taking him. If that last fight that he had was against Carlos Olberg, I'd still maybe want to take him. But the one thing this year I've really tried to limit myself with is taking guys so much older than another guy. The younger guy, Sterling's going to be bigger, longer, faster, youthful. It scares me. Pass.
And over-under on this one is over 2.5 minus 215 to the over for this light heavyweight co-main event here in the fight from Serbia this weekend.
Yeah, I really like the over there. I think Blachowicz will have to get in close and take him down. And if he does, that's his path to victory. And so I do like over.
And then we got the main event here coming up here. 10 a.m. is when the main card starts. This is scheduled for 12:15 for those of us out here on the West Coast. Medic and Daniel Rodriguez battling it out. United States, Serbia. And this is another one of those main event cards where it's a big favorite. Medic is a 395 favorite right now going into this welterweight final of bout.
Yeah, so about a year and a half ago, D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez. D-Rod is a fighter that is not a mixed martial artist. He's a street fighter. He grew up fighting in the LA prison system and streets. He's as authentic as the Diaz brothers are. He's got some grappling, but he's really going to go out there and try and light you up. He had a fight 15 months ago, 16 months ago, 13 months ago. And then afterwards, he and some buddies decided to go down to Mexico, have some fun. And entering the country, he got ascertained for having stuff in his pocket that cost him 8 months in a Mexican prison. That's how long he was there. And while he was there, he said he could train, but you can't train mixed martial arts in a prison. And surely your nutrition would be so averse for that 8 months that there'd have to be a reaction. Now, he's taken time and come back, but mentally and physically, how prepared can he be to have to travel across the world and now take on this Medic, who is a formidable striker and fighting as a Serbian in Serbia, who in his last fight after an impressive knockout called for an event in Serbia, and the UFC granted his wish. So this is going to be a huge main event for Serbia and Medic. Rodriguez is put there to be the subject. Rodriguez is looking for a movie contract about his time in the Mexican prison and being a UFC fighter. He's got other designs, and I think it's hard not to like Medic in this situation.
Yeah. Well, they agree with you. As I said, he's a 310. I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. He's a 395 favorite going to this. Over under, by the way, 1.5. Under 1.5 is the number here. Minus 195 to the under right now is what we're looking at for this main event fight here coming up this weekend from Serbia. That's a long plane flight, too, from L.A. to Serbia to get ready for that main event fight.
It is. I mean, it's, the Polish, the Austrians, they have it easy. Switzerland's not terrible. Montenegro, they drive their car, but there's a Sweden, so there's a little travel there. There's a France, there's some travel there.
So, good fight this weekend. Tune in as always. Get up early. Well, not early. I mean, it's
Bagels
7 a.m. is the main,
beatdowns.
right?
Lattes and left hooks.
I like these morning ones. I get spoiled with them. And then it goes back to 7 p.m. and I'm like, oh.
Well, I like the morning ones because then it leads me right into Saratoga.
Yeah, well, that's true for you on that. Absolutely. And then, of course, this weekend it leads you right into SummerSlam for those of you, that like a
What's
little
that?
fun in your life. Wrestling. Don't worry about it, Lou. You don't like it.
You mean wrestling?
Yeah, wrestling. But then we come back to the States next week. We get an Apex fight next week coming up there from Las Vegas, 5
Who's that
p.m. start
headliner?
there. This is the Gamrot and Salkid. Salkid.
Oh, Gamrot and Salkid.
Yeah,
Short
let me look
Polish
it up.
wrestler.
Let me look it up. Make
Against
sure.
a long Aussie striker,
Yep.
BJJ.
Yeah, that's
That'll
the
be a
main.
great fight.
That's the main card there as well
That'll be a
for
good
that.
fight.
Australian and a Poland fighter, as you said, that main one there. Then after that, we go to Philadelphia, Sacramento.
We rattle them off, man.
and then go to China.
I don't get a week off until
I
early
know.
September.
Yeah, it's
I
a
think.
long time here. Football season will start, and then you'll get a couple.
Whatever it is,
coming up. But there's a Noche UFC Saturday, September 12th. I wanted to notate this. 2 p.m. main card for that. Desert Diamond Arena over in Glendale coming up. So I just wanted to let everybody know I saw. That wasn't on the schedule before, so I don't know when that was announced, but I did see that doing my research looking forward here. So UFC fans, September 12th over there at Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale. UFC's coming out here.
I wonder if we get Sugar on that card.
You think? Well, being Noche tells me it's all
he's Hispanic.
Hispanic, yeah.
Well,
from
that's
that side.
yeah, but
Doesn't mean anything. Well, I can tell you this right now: the main that they have listed is Waldo Cortez Acosta and Curtis Blades.
Oh wow,
as a heavyweight bout.
That'd be nice.
That's the main card
we'll
listed
get some
right
MMA
now.
lab guys there. Maybe Jose Delgado.
They don't have a lot of cards listed. They have that one and a couple ladies fights listed.
Yeah, they'll all
right
be
now.
defined as we get
Exactly,
closer.
but just wanted to put that on everybody's radar here in the Valley
Nice.
coming up. For that. So there goes the Hispanic card, and right off the bat, it's those two heavyweight guys battling it out at the top.
Well, Cortez Acosta is a Dominican.
He is a
so there's
Dominican,
some
yeah.
Latino there.
But yeah, folks,
Come on,
appreciate
Steve.
it. I know, appreciate it, Lou, as always here on a
Thanks.
Thursday. Hey, the UFC screwed me up today, man. I'm gonna blame them. Get your website fixed. It's hard going back and forth today for me, folks. Hopefully you were entertained at least. Lou will be back next week as well. For everybody else, have a great night. Don't forget, we'll be live tomorrow on Friday. We're back to our 5-day-a-week schedule. Come back and join us, would you? See you then.